sanctity of life, and hopefully you've got a great message for us, because you were at the deathbed of Dr. Nathanson when he said, "I really screwed up, and I am ashamed of myself." I'm paraphrasing here, but you wrote a great book about that, and I want you to talk about that.
Planned Parenthood is out not only to drastically reduce the world's population, but particularly minorities. And it's important for all your viewers and listeners to know that the father of America's industry of abortion deeply, deeply regretted what he had done to our nation. Okay. And it was all based around lies and propaganda. And they denied what they knew to be true, that abortion kills an existing human being. And so Dr. Nathanson looked at me, and it was the only time in that interview where there was like a little bit of hope in his eyes. He said, "Teach the strategy." It's an 8-point strategy. Teach the strategy of how I deceived America. Yep. So then Dr. Nathanson said, "Tell America that the co-founder of NARAL says to love one another. Abortion is not love. Stop the killing." So they formed this political organization. He formed it with Lawrence Lader. Lawrence Lader had been like the best friend of Margaret Sanger. And
I didn't know she had any friends.
Oh, yeah, she had friends in low places.
Other than Adolf Hitler, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So they partner up together, and they form the National Association for the Repeal of Abortion Laws. They set out with this 8-point propaganda campaign to deceive New Yorkers, and then they take it across the nation. So the first thing, and they hired a public relations firm, which helped them craft this very stealthy, crafty propaganda. We've lost like 65 million people, and it's all based on lies. A heck of a lot of money behind the abortion industry, right? I mean, now they're selling baby body parts, which Dr. Nathanson predicted would happen. These are the 8 points that Dr. Nathanson used to deceive America. The first thing, they framed the debate around choice. So they framed the argument, and the argument was just around that beautiful word named choice. Number two, they crafted the cynical slogans: "My body, my choice," "Every baby a wanted baby." Then they would even take bets on which slogan would be the most popular, which one would actually stick. The third thing they would do is he would manipulate the media. So Dr. Nathanson was the Dr. Fauci of yesteryear. He was the doctor in the white lab coat making this pitch for women's choice, okay? He was the Fauci lying his rear end off. And he could manipulate the media because most of the reporters were young women. They graduated from liberal universities, and they were so tired of opposing the Vietnam War, it felt good to be in support of something, right? And so he said he could tell them anything. He described them as wet clay. They were like wet clay in his hands. He could tell them anything. So the fourth thing he would do was he would fabricate the facts. Well, another word for that is he would lie. He would tell the reporters that 1 million women a year are having back alley illegal abortions, 1 million, and 5,000 to 10,000 women a year are dying due to complications of illegal abortion. Well, all of those were audacious lies. Here are the real numbers. On the high side, there were maybe 99,000 illegal abortions, never 1 million. Never. And there were never 5,000, 10,000 women dying on the high side. It was like 200, maybe a little bit more than that. And then there were some years it was just single digits as the years went by, but there were never 10,000 women a year dying. So when I sat with Dr. Nathanson, I said, where did you get the 60% polling number that 60% of Americans want abortion on demand legalized? And he I'll never forget it, Dan. He reached up in the air like this and he clenched his hand like grabbing air, pulled it down. He said, Terry, I pulled it out of thin air. And I said, what was the real number? And he said this, but he also wrote it in the book called The Abortion Papers, published back in 1984. He said only 0.1% of Americans wanted abortion on demand legalized. Then the last, I think I got 3 more points. Oh, repeat. All these lies that get repeated by the media over and over, and all the COVID lies, they did the same thing about, oh my gosh, we have an epidemic. All these women are killing, aborting, and we just need to make it legalized. So that brings me to the 7th point. He would rationalize decriminalizing abortion. So as soon as it became legal, it went from 99 illegal, and within, I need to check on the number of years. It could have been like 7 years or something, but we were hitting 1.5 million legal abortions after Roe v. Wade. And then lastly, the last point, the 8th point, is called the Catholic strategy. Both of these men were New Yorkers. Well, what does New York have? Lots and lots of Catholic voters.